So you're thinking about moving to Bend, Oregon, or you currently live in Bend and you are considering a move to the Awbrey Butte neighborhood. Now, when most people think about Awbrey Butte, they think about the big hill on the northwest side of town. And there are lots of different neighborhoods that are within the Awbrey Butte area. So oftentimes when people think of living on the Butte, they think about living somewhere on that big hill, not necessarily in the specific Awbrey Butte neighborhood, because there are lots of little neighborhoods that are within the Awbrey Butte area. So I wanted to talk today a little bit about the Awbrey Butte neighborhood specifically, and what it's like to live on Awbrey Butte, things to think about if you are coming from out of town. So today I'm going to cover what it's like to live on Awbrey Butte, live in the specific Awbrey Butte neighborhood, and hopefully answer some of your questions that you might have about what it's like to live on a big hill. My name is Haley Overton. I am a local real estate expert here and a relocation expert here in Bend, Oregon, and I help people move here all the time, and I'm here to answer your questions about neighborhoods and what it's like to live in Bend, Oregon. What does Awbrey Butte mean geographically? So Awbrey Butte is that big hill in the middle of Northwest Bend, and you can go all the way from Newport Avenue, which is the base, the southern base of Awbrey Butte, and then you can travel all the way up and over the Butte, and then you end at Mount Washington, and then there are some homes that sit along that other side of Mount Washington as well. So there are lots of homes and lots of neighborhoods within the Awbrey Butte community. And Awbrey Butte is not one neighborhood. It's actually a collection of several different neighborhoods. But there is actually a neighborhood called Awbrey Butte. And the Awbrey Butte neighborhood tends to be filled with homes that are larger. They have larger lots. Sometimes you can get an acre or more. The homes oftentimes have views, and you can get a larger home. Sometimes they're older, sometimes they have not been updated. They're from the 90s, so some of them still have that 90s feel. Some have been updated, and you definitely pay a price for that. But one thing that I always like to point out to my clients who are considering living on Awbrey Butte in general, but specifically in the Awbrey Butte neighborhood, is driveways and driveway steepness. So when you live on a big hill, the odds of you having a driveway that has to go up or that has to go down to get to your home is pretty likely. And oftentimes in Awbrey Butte, we see steep driveways. That could either be a long steep driveway leading up to your home because you're on a hill and that's how you get those great views, or it could be a driveway that is going down towards the home. And either way, a steep driveway, whenever we have snow and ice in December, January, February, it can be a tricky thing to navigate. There are some heated driveways on Awbrey Butte. If you have a home that is east facing, so your driveway is east facing, that's going to melt a little bit faster than a north facing or a west facing driveway. But overall, homes that are within the Awbrey Butte area, that are on Awbrey Butte, one of the big things to keep in mind, especially if you're coming from an area where snow and ice are not a big thing, is keeping that in mind during the winter time. I know that I have had clients there and I've shown houses on Awbrey Butte and the sellers or the owners just didn't use their driveway in the winter. They would park on the street and they would walk, which can also be a little bit dangerous if you think about that, but something to keep in mind. So definitely keeping it plowed, potentially paying for a heated driveway, installing a heated driveway might be the way to go if you have a steeper driveway and you live on Awbrey Butte. The Awbrey Butte neighborhood does have a small HOA. Now it's not very expensive, but I will say that it is known for being one of the more strict HOAs in town. One of the things about the Awbrey Butte neighborhood is that you actually can't have fences. So they can allow for wildlife migration or line of sight with neighbors. They don't allow you to build fences. Now, I have heard them allow some temporary fencing for pets as long as it sort of meets specific architectural guidelines. But just keep in mind that if you buy a home within the Awbrey Butte neighborhood, you most likely will not be able to have a fence around your property. So keep that in mind for pets and kids. You can do invisible fencing, which we've had a lot of people do for their dogs to keep their dogs within their yard space, but not every dog will train to an invisible fence. So just keep that in mind within the Awbrey Butte neighborhood, that no fences are allowed. If you do any exterior work to the home, it does have to go by the architectural review committee within the HOA. So just some things to keep in mind about that neighborhood in particular. Now, there are a lot of different neighborhoods that are on Awbrey Butte that are not within the Awbrey Butte neighborhood. There's Awbrey Park, there's Awbrey Village, there's the West Hills, and there are different nuances to each one of those neighborhoods. Some of them have small HOAs associated with them, some of them don't. One of my favorite parts of Awbrey Butte is the area that is just north of Newport Avenue. It's before it gets way too steep on the hill. You can get some really cool older mid-century homes, some that were built in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and I think that that part of Awbrey Butte is still a little bit more walkable than some of the others. When you get higher up the hill, you can still get some really cool views of the south part of town or even the old mill. You don't necessarily get those mountain views just because of where they're located, but I think that it can still be a really neat spot to be. So if you're looking for a home that is on Awbrey Butte, but still provides some walkability because it's not too hilly yet, I really think that that West Hills area and just south of the West Hills, sort of between Newport Avenue and like Northwest 6th, those areas there, that can really provide some good home opportunities, some really beautiful homes, and also that walkability that so many people who are moving to Bend are looking for. Now, as you get higher up on Awbrey Butte, that's where walkability can come into question. One of the hard things about Awbrey Butte for some of my buyers, it's so close to town. I mean, you are a half mile sometimes onto Newport Avenue, you're a mile to downtown, you're just really close, but because you live on a big hill, it's just not super walkable. So you have to take a car down, or if you have an e-bike, that can work too. If you have young children who are biking, I think it would be quite difficult for them to bike back up the butte. But I do think that you can get great views. There are some really beautiful homes. You get some great wildlife and just a really nice living space. However, you are giving up a little bit of walkability. So if that's your goal for moving to Bend, Awbrey Butte might be something that you want to really take a hard look at and just make sure that it's going to provide the lifestyle that you're looking for. We oftentimes have people reach out to us and they see a beautiful home on Awbrey Butte, or they love the idea because it seems so close to town, and then they get here and it's on a big hill, and getting down that hill maybe not that difficult, but getting up the hill can be a little bit trickier. Another thing to keep in mind about living on Awbrey Butte is that the roads are hilly. Again, you're on a hill, but they're also windier, and a lot of it does not have sidewalks. Now, some of the neighborhoods do have sidewalks, but some of the lower portions of Awbrey Butte do not have sidewalks. So keep that in mind if you like to take walks with dogs or kids, if you want to teach kids how to ride a bike. I don't know if Awbrey Butte would be the right fit, but just all those things to keep in mind in terms of your lifestyle and what you're hoping to get out of a neighborhood that you're going to buy a home in. So who typically buys a home on Awbrey Butte? Honestly, we sell homes and we show homes on Awbrey Butte to people of all lifestyles, empty nesters, young couples, people with young families. It really just is a matter of, is the lifestyle going to be a fit for what you're looking for in Bend? Some people don't necessarily care about walkability. They really, really want those views, or they really want a large 3,500, 4,000 square foot house, and Awbrey Butte can really provide that for them. If you are wanting to walk to coffee shops every morning, if being able to get downtown really easily and not use a car is important to you, then Awbrey Butte may not be the right fit. Another one of Bend's neighborhoods might be a better fit for you. But if you're really just looking for a beautiful home with potentially great views, a larger lot, something like that, Awbrey Butte can be a really great fit. If you are weighing these options, the view versus the walkability versus the access, I walk buyers through this all the time, and I help them decide what neighborhood is going to be the best fit for them. Feel free to drop a comment below if you have questions about Awbrey Butte or any of our other great neighborhoods here in Central Oregon. And if you have questions just about what it's like to live here or want to connect, then shoot me a message or feel free to reach out. I love helping people find the right neighborhood for them and their lifestyle as they make that move into Bend.